And good morning. Here we are, 5:30 in the morning. Time to start sketching again. Every day we grab one of these toys. I've got about almost 400 of these little canisters now full of little toys. I grab one random object out of the randomogrifier and the Random Object Randomogrifier. A random object out of the Random Object Randomogrifier. Hi, Claudia. And so today we have a coyote. Let's see here. Today we have a coyote, and so we're going to sketch this toy while we chit chat and make sure that the cameras are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It looks like they're doing it. They changed on their own. Alright, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Tools, advanced scene switcher. Da-da-da. So anyway, this is what we're doing today. We're sketching one of these things. Yeah, looks like we're good to go. Okay, so I need a pencil, a little mechanical Kurutoga pencil that rotates the lead automatically for me. I run it out there about 3 clicks so that I remember to use light pressure. Check this out. We're down to today and tomorrow, and then it'll be time to flip the book over and we can start over. So here we go. I see a little round dad, and it looks like you got your looks from him. Am I right? Absolutely. I got my good looks from my mom because my dad still has his. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. No, my dad and I, we are obviously related. There's questions about who my real mother is, but my dad, whew. That has been, by the way, that has been a family joke for years. That is not me trying to make my mom feel bad. That has been a family joke for years. So much so that I say it with my kids also. Little composition work, trying to make sure I've got room on the paper for what I want to do here and that everything goes where it's supposed to go. My mom will come in and chat here in a minute. Start howling at us. Yeah, this is supposed to be. My dad says he knows who my mother is because he was there. This music that we're listening to, there's like 700 songs, and it's supposed to be on random rotation. And it feels like every morning I get the same songs. Bear with me here. I'm trying to figure out why this nose looks like it's a seal and not a dog. You got to look at these things and you got to figure out why, what actually separates one animal for another. What makes it where you can look at an animal and say, yep, that's a dog, yep, that's a cat, yep, that's a weasel, yep, that's a ferret. That's where I am right now, trying to figure out what exactly it is that differentiates this. Part of me wants to make changes based on what I think it should look like. And that's not how it works, right? It's got to be what you see. But what if what I see is wrong? Claudia says she looks like her mother but acts like her father on most things. That's all of my kids. And I think it's great. Sometimes there's nothing better than seeing this is too long. That's what's wrong. I either need to make it bigger or I need to make it but this is too long. This veto, Darwin. I don't get to do that very often because usually I work in ink. But hey, I'm in pencil today. Alright, back to the composition. So from that ear we have the back, we have the head does this, the shoulder blade comes out and does this, the spine does this and this, and then that back hip comes out and goes across almost right there, almost immediately. Then we start getting tailbone right there, and then the tail drops, comes out. Sorry, little composition error. Had to correct it. It was never. You can do whatever you want with your painting, but if your drawing's not right, your painting will never look right. If you get the proportions off. So that's what we're practicing here, right? Is making sure we get the right proportions. So that we can make sure that when we go to paint, our drawing will be correct, our proportions will be correct. Then all you have to worry about is tone. You don't even have to worry about color theory, you just have to worry about tone, value. Value is what I meant. Yeah, that's the ticket. Alright. Got some stray lines there. clean these stray lines up so we don't end up shading the wrong thing. I think that'll have us on the composition. Yeah, now we can start adding some shading and details. It's gnat and mosquito season, if you can't tell. Alright, so now this head, there's a shadow that comes back. Does this. This is a shadow. This is in shadow. This is in shadow. Darker shadow. This is in shadow. And I don't know how Bob Ross did it. Bob Ross used to just chatter the whole time he was painting. Happy little trees. This little tree needs a friend. We all need friends sometimes. But how did he manage to chat and art at the same time? Because I mean, I got the hand-eye coordination going on over here, and every time I say something, my hand wants to do this. That is why Bob Ross is the GOAT. We're all just trying to be like Bob, right? Thought I'd go live tonight with the Artistic Biker, which, if you've never seen that before, that's if Bob Ross and Red Green and Justin Wilson had a love child. That'd be the Artistic Biker. So I thought I'd go live tonight and do some painting on a card, do a mini tonight. I haven't decided yet if I want to go live on YouTube or if I want to go live on Twitch and then move it to YouTube. But I can tell you this going live every morning like this has been really easy. The struggle that I had before was that I like to listen to music while I art, and the music is copyrighted. So YouTube would hit me with a copyright violation. All the time. I was getting copyright violations all the time. Even on songs that I had paid for the license for. At the beginning, I used to pay for a ASCAP license. And there were songs that I had paid. I had an ASCAP license for it, and I'd have to fight it, and it got very frustrating. So I kind of stopped doing it for a while. Then at first we were on Ustream, and then Ustream decided to go pro, and it became like $300 a month to go on Ustream. And then I was doing Twitch for a while. Not sure why we stopped Twitch. Twitch actually worked very well for us too. When you shade like this, you want to do, I move my pencil back and forth, but most of that is just a practice line, and then I make one line. I try to make one small line so that every line is bold and intentional. But the important thing here is to shade in the direction of the fur. That way if you do get a stray line, it still matches up with the fur. What's going on in the chat? She missed an octopus, but it looked great. Yes, the tree needed a friend. Oh yeah, and then he laughed about it himself. Yeah, Bob Ross. Just talking about our Bob Ross comments earlier. Yeah, Bob Ross was fantastic for being able to chat and art at the same time. Sometimes I just get lost in what I'm trying to do. I forget to talk. The whole works. But I think, how are we doing on time? Ooh, it's 5:50 already. People who can art and chat at the same time are just a different breed of people. Alright, I got some stray lines I want to clean up here. And then we'll come in with the drop shadow. And then look for highlights. That nose is funky. I'm not sure what's going on with that nose. It may just need that there. That may have been it right there. Yeah, I had a stray line that was throwing that shape of that nose off. Now, sitting there fighting with it. I didn't have to because it shouldn't have been a line there to begin with. Ever make a mistake? We're going to turn this mistake into a bird. Put a bird on it. Alright. I think we're doing pretty good there. Now let's add some shading. Let's start with this foot back here because I've already got it shaped fairly wrong, so I can correct it with a shadow. This should be longer because this should be way down here. Because that's supposed to go like that. What is up with that? Yeah, that front leg is too short. Body's too thick. The front leg's too short. Here, I think I see what's happened here. It's not so much that the leg is too short, it's that the body's too thick. Because this and this back foot should be way higher. Way higher. Not high enough to look like anatomy, if you will. High enough to let that shadow get under it. Yeah, that's what we needed. Okay, and then we have a little fuzzy shadow that comes out to here like this, which is the dog body, and then we have this front leg shadow that does this. Alright, yeah, that's better. That's way better. And then this comes about to there. And then I can exaggerate a little bit. Nobody's really looking at the shadow to define the object. The shadow is way off. Then they'll look at, then it messes the object up, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I thought that. It's not what I thought that was at all. All right, so we can go really dark right there. We can go really dark right there, especially under that toe. really good show. This is my Ed Sullivan imitation, which is funny because I'm not old enough to have ever seen an Ed Sullivan episode. I just have seen the episode where he introduced the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Did he introduce the Rolling Stones, or was that good Lord, I can see him plain as day. Somebody go on the internet and see what show it was that the Rolling Stones, they were supposed to censor themselves and they didn't. It wasn't Ed Sullivan. Dick Cavett. I think it was the Dick Cavett show. No, Claudia, I'm not talking about you having a body too thick. I wouldn't do that. I like curves on women. Tell that from my pinups. I have a tendency, when I draw pinups, I have a tendency to make them all thicker than they actually are. I've had models come back and say, "That's beautiful, I love it," and then I've had other models come back and say, "I'm really not thick like that. I don't really appreciate that." I'm like, yeah, you know, be cooler if you were. Alright, we're going to add some highlights here. Like this tail has just a little bit of highlight in it. But you know what? That shadow is actually lighter than the tail. Now, the other thing is that the wolf is not white. So I need to go through and separate him from the page. Separate him from the paper. Alright. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's 6:02. Some of them I really have models. Yeah, Claudia, some of them I really have models. Some of them are just women on Instagram that I draw, that have given me permission to draw. Some of them are people who have sent me photos of themselves and says, can you please draw me? And then some of them, like this Sunday I was supposed to go to figure drawing with a live model, but the guy that hosts the lab has the flu. So he has suggested that we might not have a lab this weekend. So yeah, some of them are actual people standing in front of me. But I don't have that very often because that's not really, it's cost prohibitive for me. There's also a bunch of models that I purchase images for, like on Gumroad. There's Mel's Minion and Graphit Studio. I purchase packets from them. Of models, because it'll be like 1,300 poses in a 360 degrees. So I can turn the model any way I want to. I'd show you, but then our YouTube would be flagged for nudity. You know, maybe I have. Oh no, I can't. I'm using the phone for recording. If you haven't noticed, I record the live stream with what you're watching now. Then I also release a reel, a short. Got my phone over here recording the short. But I think for our purposes we're going to call this done. Cost prohibitive. No, cost prohibitive. Cost prohibitive. Ah! Means that as often as, of course you know what it means, but as often as I like to draw pinups and models, I just can't afford to throw $100, $200 per session. At that hobby. But I can throw $165 every 3 or 4 months to my friend Rick's, who hosts a drawing lab, and then he hires the model for all of us. But I can afford that better than I can afford to hire a model for myself. I used to have the wife stand around a model for me, and she was okay with that. That almost always ended up with another kid. It's crazy how that worked. Alright, I'm calling that. I'm gonna go through here. I've got a couple of lines here that shouldn't be there, and then I've got a couple of areas that are darker than they should be. And I just want them cleaned up. Especially right here in the mouth, it really takes away from the way that jaw works. But I think, yeah, that made a big difference. See, Twitch is just a little more lax on the nudity policy. Maybe I could live stream a pinup session with Twitch and then edit it for YouTube. Blur the photo. I think that's it. I'm calling it. What is today? I don't have nearly as many children as I have had my wife model for me. But it's not for lack of trying. Today's the 10th. 10 April 2025. I have 4 children and 3 grandchildren, but again, it's not for lack of trying. Put some stars on certain places. I've done that. I have flipped through my sketchbook and blurred stuff out. I actually have some things laying around here that I lay on the pictures. Like I have this Rolling Stones memorial coin, and I have my little bobblehead, my little Deadpool bobblehead, and I have a hamburger eraser, and then I use those. I'll just lay them on the picture so that you can't see what I'm doing. And then on Instagram, I have a I have a banana. I have a hairless cat. I have a meerkat, and I have a male nipple with writing around it that says obviously a male nipple, so that there's no confusion that it might accidentally be a female nipple. because you know female nipples are vulgar and hideous, but male nipples are fine for social media. There's just no way to get them both in focus. All right, so brighten the screen so you can see it. Put that there. Zoom in on it so you can see it. Yeah, I'm the artistic biker everywhere you go, Claudia. So there's the finished product. Doesn't really focus very well no matter what I do. It's either this is in focus or this is in focus, or they're both a little bit out of focus, but there you go. Alright guys, thanks for joining me. You know I look forward to this all the time. This is my morning routine now, and I think I'm having a good time with it. It's easy. Get to chat with some friendly folks and draw some fun pictures. Right now we're just waiting for the stream to catch up with us so that when I cancel it, it'll show it's finished. Oh, I'm glad you liked the octopus. I really enjoyed that one too. My daughter gave me that one from the aquarium. Okay guys, we'll see you. I'm probably going to stream tonight, so we'll see you then. Have a good day.